Kelly, Lewis, and Rick, and we're joined now by Robert Schuerger from Schuerger and Shunnarah Law Firm. And, a little while ago we were asking people, what is something about you that doesn't sound real, but it's true? And so we thought we'd ask you.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different episodes in my life that have but there is one experience that kind of sticks out. It was probably about 15, I'm thinking about maybe 15 years ago. I was in Vietnam with a client. We're doing an economic development deal with the in Hanoi, talking about building Hanoi University because they were going to build the university. Actually, we had a delegation that came over here to Ohio before we did this trip. And the head of technology for the Vietnamese government was taking us out to lunch. And the company I was representing at the time said, hey, we're going to go out to lunch out here at this great restaurant in Hanoi. And I'm thinking, oh, this is great. I jump in the car and we go and we keep driving and we're driving and we're about 20 minutes out and it's not a city anymore.
It's starting to worry.
The roads are starting to get
I've seen this movie.
Dirty, and I'm thinking, what's happening here? Do I have to get on my phone and say, hey, help? They're about to take me hostage. What's taking place? So we jump out of this restaurant and we walk in and I look and as soon as you walk in the restaurant, there's a kimono dragon. There's snakes. There's lizards. And they're all in these cages as you walk in.
Oh, live. This is a real live.
Oh, yeah. This is like we are in the jungle. Yeah. We are live. And the owner of the restaurant comes out, and his arm, one of his arms, his right hand is like... it looks like there was some neurological damage. So it was like inverted. Right. It almost like...
Curled up.
Curled up.
Yeah.
Nothing hit me about why. I just thought, maybe that was an issue. Or what, it's like Hostel, right? I'm coming in. So the movie Hostel, I'm saying, is what I'm thinking as I'm walking in this place. So we sit at the table, and they line up the drinks, and we're talking. The menu comes out. It's all Vietnamese. So I'm like, hey, you guys just order.
Just order for me.
And all of a sudden, they're like, okay, we'll order. And they order. We're all talking, laughing. It's hot as hell. And I look over, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a king cobra snake coming right at the table, like slithering. And nobody at the table's panicking. They're kind of laughing. They're looking at me as the American. I'm the only American at this in this restaurant at this table. And I look over. I'm like, what the? And then literally, the snake goes up right by the table, and then you hear the snake charming music from the old guy that I saw who owned the thing.
Hand?
Yeah, with the hand.
Oh, is he playing like a flute?
And then the snake comes up, but it's the cobra. You can see the venom literally coming.
God!
And I'm thinking, my God. I'm like, and so he grabs it by the neck right in front of me, and he cuts open the cobra, and all the blood gushes into like a jar. And they cut out the beating heart of the of the cobra, and they put it in the glass, and they say, Vietnamese good luck. You need to drink the beating heart with the blood.
Huh.
And I'm looking around like, I don't want to offend these people. This is a big deal. What the hell? Is this a joke? This is a live. And I could see the venom as he's holding any drop of this on the skin would literally, could kill me. So, of course, I say, you know what? I'm all in.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. Just like I am for the clients. I grab that glass. I grab that beating heart. I drink it, and I swallow it. And everybody in the restaurant's cheering. They're going crazy. And finally, I look at the guy. I look at my friend. I say, what happened to that old guy? The owner. They're like, oh, he got bit by a cobra. And they find
his hand?
And that's why they were able to save his life. But the neurological damage that venom did made him incapacitated in his right hand. So they said,
my God.
And then later on they said that the blood was an aphrodisiac, which, I didn't, let's just say it didn't work over there. But
that's my new commercial.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Schuerger.
Yeah.
I drank the blood of the beating heart of a cobra. Warforyou.com.
I will go to war for you. Man, you should be in movies. You know that? I'm not even kidding. You
the fact that your first thought was, I don't want to offend these guys, is really impressive.
You're The attorney for your opponent's case might be good, but he hasn't drank the blood of a cobra.
4 miles down the road on foot at that point.
I'll tell you, for the next time I'm on, I'll tell you some of the Chinese karaoke stories that when I have to go to Shanghai and Beijing.
All right, so just real quick for people to get to know you a little bit, your involvement with the UFC and sanctioning fights.
Yeah, so I've been on the Ohio Athletic Commission for about 10 years. I've been chairman for the past 7, 8. We govern UFC, boxing, sports agents, and pro wrestling in the state of Ohio. Ohio has a history with UFC because we were one of the few states early on that allowed sanctioned UFC fights to take place here. When UFC was trying to expand throughout the country, Dana White and the Furtado brothers were making a major push to have all 50 states sanction the fights so they could do more shows. Pro boxing got involved as some other interests in trying to curb that ability from happening. Obviously, UFC was successful, but they've always had a warm spot in their heart for Ohio. Our old executive director, Bernie Perfado, was somebody who was a real trailblazer in allowing UFC to participate. And actually, for a long time, the largest attended show in the history of UFC was that nationwide show that was done during the Arnold years ago when UFC was first starting out.
Yeah.
When Ronda Rousey, I believe, was one of the headliners of that show. So, you know, UFC is a growing, obviously, one of the fastest growing sports in the world. It's one that any country could participate in. Boxing is still, not as fast growing as UFC, but still has a steady fan base. Here in Ohio, we've got Albert Bell, heavyweight champ, could be a heavyweight champ out in Toledo, Ohio. Then you have, obviously, pro wrestling. You've got Nick Nemeth and The Miz, 2 guys from Cleveland. So Ohio as a state has a very deep heritage when it comes to athletic competitions, athletic sports like UFC, pro wrestling, and boxing.
So what do you think about Conor McGregor coming back?
I think it's great. I mean, obviously, Conor McGregor, he's been off for 31 months with this injury, similar injury that Silva and Weidman had with their ankle, foot. But, McGregor's in a different position now than he was years ago. He doesn't need the fight. I think fighting Chandler is interesting because I think that there is a narrative and a character, a real animosity between the two. But, Conor McGregor's has the Roadhouse movie coming out.
Yeah.
So, he's, sold his whiskey brand. He's riding high. So I think Conor's going to do it on his time when he's healthy and he's ready to go. And I think Conor wants to make sure that he wins because the only thing Conor has left that he doesn't lose,
right,
particularly for his brand and ego.
Well, I will definitely be tuned in. All right, let's get to this because I knew Lewis he can't wait to dive into this McMahon drama.
You smell what the Rock is cooking.
So Kelly brought this story up when it broke, and we talked about the whole Vince McMahon thing, and you follow the timeline for this, and it gets something else seems like it comes out every other day. There's somebody new coming forward.
Like they're claiming sexual assault, right? By Vince McMahon, or that he okayed it, and sex trafficking.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that came out in the text messages, because originally he denied everything, and then her and her attorney went, yeah, well, okay, here's this page full of text messages. Read at your own risk. And some of them are very graphic, so we can't even go on the air. But one of the latest things that came out was a wrestler named Ashley Massaro, who you may or may not remember. She was one of their Diva Search winners back in the day. She did a Playboy back in 2005. And it's come out now that Vince essentially tried to make advances towards her, would call her hotel room while they were on tour, and she rejected him. But while they were on a tour in Kuwait, supposedly she was dehydrated and was treated, and while she was treated, she was taken to another facility where she was raped multiple times. And supposedly the story now is that Vince and the WWE at the time knew about this, but told her not to say anything because they didn't want to damage their reputation with the military. So if this is true, it's going to cause a lot of things to happen on multiple different levels. Now, all of this was prior to the new company taking over WWE. But if you follow the timeline for this, right around the time where Stephanie and Triple H were in charge, I feel like maybe Triple H knew some, but not all. And then he had the heart condition. And you got to wonder if the steroids in the early days, the toll he took on his body, and then you add stress into that, was that a contributing factor to his heart issues because he found out about this? Stephanie walks away from all this as the golden child. Shane walked away years ago because I don't think they liked what their dad was about. And I think when Stephanie when they got rid of him the first time, she came back And then I feel like there was a day where Triple H came home because they're married and went, you know, all that stuff we thought we'd heard about? Yeah, a lot of it's true. And then as soon as Vince comes back, Stephanie's gone, like just resigns the next day.
Yeah.
And now all this stuff has come forward with the money trail and everything else. So it's really like there's a lot of stuff to unpack.
Oh yeah, no question, and obviously the timing of this is interesting, right? Netflix just signs the $5 billion 10-year deal, $500 million a year. You know, WWE's current deal with USA is roughly about $250 million a year, so you're doubling the revenue. Netflix clearly did the research and understanding that this is a growing demographic to focus in on, and then the bomb drops. You know, they ring the bell at the TKO. On the stock exchange, talk about the deal, and then the next day, bam, McMahon's hit with the suit. The interesting part too is that, you know, part of the NDA, from my understanding, was a $3 million payment in order for the NDA to be enforced,
and he didn't pay it.
Yeah, he did $1 million, and then somehow did nothing after that. Which, you know, in this case particularly, there's a number of different people involved. You know, Brock Lesnar, right? I mean, his face has basically been wiped from the from the WWE stage. When we're looking at the Royal Rumble, just before that, he was going to be one of the favorites potentially to win and become a part of the overall narrative. You've got, you know, Triple H now. What did he know and when? When you look at these things, so Vince has really put, you know, these people in a bad position.
And with Lesnar, you had him as being a global brand ambassador for the WWE as well as UFC. Yeah. Everybody knew who he was, and now he's gone from both, like overnight. Although I guess the silver lining is the same group of South African children that just got a box of stuff that said congratulations to the world champion San Francisco 49ers also got a nice box of Brock Lesnar merch as well.
Yeah. Lesnar went from the number one selling merch to the least selling merch in 24 hours for the WWE store.
Man. But now, here's the thing with the NDA, though. He made her sign an NDA and then didn't pay for it. But the going statement from everybody is that he did that without the company's knowledge. That was like a Vince McMahon personal NDA and not a WWE NDA. But do you consider them one and the same because he technically was the majority shareholder at the time?
Yeah, I mean, I think as we look at the history, you know, Vince was doing the payoffs over, you know, as we know even before. I mean, it was up to $20 million, which was out of his, you know, funds. He didn't tell the company, but Vince McMahon's the CEO, chairman of the company. Whether it's his money or the company's money, the brand follows him. So, you know, ultimately it affects the WWE. Now, from a company perspective, what is their culpability, their liability as an entity if this was an individual action? And I think more will be to come, like you said, Lewis, as the onion gets peeled back. There's going to be more and more stories that are going to drop about what happened, what took place over the last 15 to 20 years in WWE.
Was this one of those things where Triple H could go, hey, this was all going on in the Ivory Tower back in Connecticut. I was on the road with the grunts, essentially.
I think I think from Triple H's standpoint, I think you're right. And I think Stephanie's quick departure when Vince came back was the sign that you said that, you know, they knew something was there. Did they know the extent of it? Probably not, but they knew enough to know that Vince was not acting appropriately.
Man, my wife and I were talking about this last night, and we'd come to the conclusion, we were like, you know, these really, really rich people are all freaks. They are all deviant freaks, locked and loaded with NDAs. Yeah, every one of them.
It's like Eyes Wide Shut. You can't have too much money. There's such thing as having too much money.
Well, and the other thing is people, you know, the argument forever is Batman is the real person, Bruce Wayne is the mask. And you look at the character now that all that content has been scrubbed off WWE sites, but you look at the old Vince McMahon, the Mr. McMahon character that he played on TV, that's the real Vince, and the Vince McMahon guy that you see is the mask.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're right. It's almost in a role reversal. I mean, if you read Vince McMahon's biography, you know that he went through a very traumatic childhood, right? I mean, he wasn't somebody who was born with a golden spoon. He was somebody who basically took what his father's seed and built it into an empire. But with that being said, he had a lot of demons that he never dealt with as he was growing up, and unfortunately, those demons were unleashed on the WWE world during his tenure as chairman.
How much is the wife, Linda, going to get in the settlement? Because David married forever, so she's got to be...
Well, she's been by his side since the beginning.
Yeah.
We get a few texts here. Jay loves your laugh, by the way. Doug said, this dude is awesome. He needs his own show. And JC brought up Al Snow from Lima, Ohio.
Yes, that's right. And I'll tell you, that Netflix documentary is incredible.
I was going to say The Wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
And Matt Jones, another great radio personality down there in Kentucky. And not a lot of people know that the current mayor of Louisville is also the part owner of OVW.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. If people want to know if you landed that deal in Hanoi.
Let's just say the permits didn't come in.
Mike asked, well, I don't know if this is a joke. He says, will Vince be in trouble for copyright infringement because he named his toys after the wrestlers?
Yeah, there's rumors that his sex toys was...
is that what he's talking about?
There's rumors he named the sex toys after wrestling. Come on here, honey, I want to meet the Undertaker.
You guys should give Lions Den a call and see if they've got a line on the Vince McMahon line of toys.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, I would like the Shawn Michaels, please. Just give me the Heartbreak Kid. It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well... So there you go. Everybody's first chance to meet Robert Schuerger. I'm so glad you came in.
No,
awesome.
I love it.
You got to come back.
Yeah, no, I would love to.
This has
not
been
just for
a
this.
lot of. It's been a lot of fun.
As a former criminal, I can speak that my brethren out there may or may not have some legal questions that they.
Well, that's just it. But I mean, you're not really a defense lawyer, are you?
No.
So,
but I do play one on TV.
You do. But you can probably answer questions. You can probably answer some questions. I'm sure you know quite a bit about the law. So, but it's been a great pleasure having you in here.
Thank you for letting me come in and talk.
And that's what we want you to do, some more of that.
All right, what's your website?
Yeah.
Website, warforyou.com.
Warforyou.com.
And you're on Instagram?
Yep, War for You Law.
War for You Law.
All right.
Just beginning that Instagram page. Actually, my first post was coming on the show here today, so wish me luck.
Let's give this guy some love on Instagram.
It's all uphill from here.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get a photo of that Cobra to get on the Instagram account.
When you start at the bottom.
I think I've got, actually, you know what? I think I do. I'm going to go back. That was before, the digital phones.
Right.
I have some pictures of me in that Cobra. I remember.
Dude, you got
it. Yeah. I'm going to get in the boxes and grab it.
I was just thinking, if you had actually had video of that would go viral so fast. I mean, it would happen immediately.
Yeah. I thought they were going to turn the kimono dragon loose on me. Again, I thought I was like in the thrones of the Game of Thrones.
Yes.
They're going to throw me in the dusty bowl and say, you got to fight this kimono dragon next.
Dude, if that were me, I would just carry it around. That would be my street cred.
That's hilarious. So you were a fan of the show?
Oh, yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Big fan.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on.
Look at Kelly already.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Plug your ears, Kelly. All right. Did you watch it year by year, week by week, or did you binge watch it?
I read the books.
Okay.
So I went through the books, and then I binge watched pieces. Not binge watch, but I watched pieces of it.
Okay.
Because the book and the show were different, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it's interesting. It was one of those where I probably should have watched the show first and then read the book, because by the time I dug into the show, the acting was incredible. But the book, for me, I was kind of losing because of the twists and turns.
Right.
But I mean, I'm a fan.
All right. Did you have a problem with the finale?
The final season.
Yeah.
You mean with Jon Snow?
Just how it ended. Yeah.
No, because it the reason why is from a character development standpoint. You could see how Daenerys really took out her. It's almost like the inner demon of the family came out.
She became her father.
She became
her
father.
Queen.
And Jon Snow saw that, and he knew that if he didn't end it there, that it would be just another round of a tyrannical reign.
Okay, Lewis, I know this bothers you, but understand, nobody's wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. He's not wrong. this is a fact. If you go by you look at polls that are online, people who watched it year by year, week by week, in normal time as it came out, hated the ending. Those of us who binge watched it had no problem with it.
Let me just
and
tell
it's
you.
consistent.
I hope you're happy with where you went. Robert comes in here this morning. Him and I are hitting it off. We're bonding over WWE. All you did was wreck a friendship today.
But I created one.
The interesting part is Tywin Lannister, the one who gets killed on the toilet, is the mastermind of the whole show.
What a terrible way to go.
I want your laugh as my ringtone. Can you stick around after the show here?
Best.
Awesome.
Man, thanks again for coming in.
Oh, no,
You're a welcome anytime. If you just want to come hang out with us anytime you want.
Hey guys, I brought you some Cobra Blood to try.
I've got some good stories. I'll bring some donuts and coffee.
Hell yes. Absolutely.